Oh. So I was actually intending on showing something, and I was practicing the camera angles and such. But anyway, this is further progress. I actually have some cleanup to do here. Yeah, that's actually from the paper that I had set it on to. So that way, because I've painted the bottom edge with the wood glue as well, and it's actually coming out, pretty well. Anyway, I mean, I found out actually completely by accident that using just straight wood glue with no water at all actually works much better in terms of like the coverage and all. Uh, and actually, as it turns out, for me personally, because I'm using this type of brush instead of the brushes that the person who created the tutorial that I'm following was using, where they're using a standard like bristle or chip brush, the thicker the glue is, the better it is for me because of the type of brush that I'm using. So if you're going to use the wood glue method, definitely take that into account. Thinning out the wood glue does work, but it's going to really require more to be able to get it. Uh, Mostly because of how much the brush can pick up. Because even though it looked like I was covering a lot, I really wasn't putting that much on. So it was a much thinner coat and everything, and that actually will be a very good thing for like certain projects. You want to have the thinner coat for more control and precision and all. Whereas for something like this, it's not really that important, so you can just kind of get it on there, and you really want to kind of have that thicker coat and all. It takes a little bit longer to dry and cure and all, but it's actually pretty decent. Also, finally decided to do a little bit better on how I'm doing the strips of the baby wipes, and basically, yeah, putting the helmet down on a stable surface would actually be a good idea. Alright, here's what I've done is I've taken this is actually not that many sheets, to be honest. What I've done is I've taken like a baby wipe, just for example, and you take the baby wipe and you fold it like that, so you have 4 layers, and then you can come in with the scissors and so that way you end up with their strips. Uh, and so I have a nice bunch of strips and all. I actually ended up with way too small pieces. You actually kind of, just for size comparison here, like these will work, but you really kind of want the about 2 inches by an inch or so. These will work though, but But anyway, what I found is instead of just taking the one wipe and folding it twice like I was doing, I would take like 4 or even 5 of them and do the same thing and end up getting a bunch of strips at the same time. Now you could take a bunch of the strips and cut them into approximate thirds. Uh, as you can see here, I have 6 very nice piles of strips to pull from. And so what I'll be doing, in a minute here is I'm actually going to pop some more glue in, and I'm not going to put very much water at all. It does help when you have the water in because it kind of helps helps it flow a little bit better. But ultimately, yeah, you want to kind of, you eventually, yeah, you really want to kind of put on pretty much just straight up glue. You don't want to put very much water at all when you're doing those final layers and all. And then, I mean, I do have some like drips and things like that happen and all, which, like I said, I'm gonna see once I actually get a couple more layers of the glue and everything on there, see how this turns out. But for now, it's actually coming out pretty good. I also like how the fact that you can actually see the difference between where I've got strips and where I don't a lot easier because of such a drastic color change too. So that is also a very good thing. Then I've got a couple areas here where I got some adhesion issues like this, that it's really not that big a deal if it's not like that. For that, in fact, actually helps me smooth it out a little bit better. But what I'm going to want to do is maybe take some glue or whatever, just kind of put it up underneath there, just to kind of give it, just let it hold some. But overall, this is a very good method, though. We'll see how it actually turns out when I'm done, though. But if you know anything about fiberglassing, then you already know how to do this. But you basically just take your sheet, and once you put your glue on it and everything, and then you just put it on. And you see how this smaller pieces are much easier to control and everything, so I get more precise coverage and everything. So I'm going to actually get back to work here. I found a UFO conspiracy video that I thought was kind of interesting, so I'm going to catch up on some of my fun stuff on YouTube while I'm doing this. So anyway, we'll see how this turns out once I actually get some work done on it. So, yeah, in any event, have a nice day,